My name is Joshua Van Slackman, and I take this opportunity in saying thank you very much for joining us. Let's get to the news in details. When it comes to the legal challenge filed against the government of Guyana in relation to the tax waivers it granted to ExxonMobil and its partners, Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal is standing his ground that he is within his right to challenge the government in court. In an affidavit responding to ExxonMobil's subsidiary Esso, which is an added respondent in the matter, Lal rebutted the contention whether he has the authority to bring such a case to the High Court. The KN publisher filed the case which seeks to overturn the expansive tax provision granted by the government to the oil companies as part of the production sharing agreement for the oil drilling exploration in the Stabroek Block. Among the grounds, Lal lists as his main contention that the provisions of the agreement violates the Petroleum Act by purporting to extend production sharing concessions to persons other than those licensed. In response, Esso had accused the newspaper publisher of brazenly approaching the court and without jurisdiction, is prying into the matter that does not concern or have any personal effect on his well-being. However, in an affidavit filed this week in rebuttal to Esso's claim, Lal held that as a public spirit citizen, taxpayer and newspaper publisher, he ought to be allowed to seek refiles where there are serious issues of public importance. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. Is the People's Progressive Party civic government hell-bent on dancing to the tune of ExxonMobil, no matter the cost to the nation? That's the question several industry experts have been asking themselves after observing that the government has hired contractors to review the Payara and Yellowfield development plans in 42 and 52 days respectively. For both projects, the administrations utilized two contractors, Bayface consultancy firm from the UK and Alison Redford Group out of Canada. With respect to the Payara FDP review, Redford was directly contracted and paid via a grant from the Canadian High Commission to conduct the review in 6 weeks. She was hired for the job even though she has no known track record in doing some for years in the interest of states with similar production fields. We had also reported that the terms of reference for the Payara review were also a secret. All that remained known is that she was hired to review the Payara FDP, a job that was initially started by Bayface under the Granger administration. Despite promises to be transparent, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, President Irfan Ali, and Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat have failed thus far to make Redford's report on Payara available for public scrutiny. A phone call on Friday evening led to the shocking discovery of the bodies of two friends in a black Honda Vezel SUV with the windows halfway down in the parking lot of the Marriott Hotel Kings in Georgetown. They were identified as two well-known individuals, 34-year-old Justin Teixeira, a flight attendant with American Airlines, and 25-year-old Pashanarayan Hansraj, also known as Richie, a local singer of the Hague Backdam West Coast Demerara. Police investigation so far is suggesting that there might be a case of murder-suicide. Police were first informed of the shocking discovery around 16 minutes past midnight on Saturday morning. It was a hotel employee who found the men motionless in the car. The flight attendant was a guest at the hotel, and at around 23 hours 30 on Friday, his mother, a 60-year-old resident of Middle Road, La Penitence, Georgetown, called and requested an employee check up on her son because he was reportedly having a seizure. According to police, it appears as if the men had consumed a deadly substance. They were seen frothing from the mouth, and there was no marks of violence on their bodies. On the backseat of the vehicle, detectives found a plastic container containing a white hard substance. At first glance, detectives thought it was some form of narcotics, such as crack cocaine. The lab officials told police that it could not be sodium cyanide, as a substance that is lethal in small quantities, but they cannot be sure because the forensic lab does not have the capacities and capabilities to test for such toxic chemicals. Police have managed to arrest one of 8 men who were accused of robbing a vendor twice in one day at Beefield Sophia, Georgetown. The gang reportedly first robbed the vendor, 27-year-old Glenroy Griffith, of his gold chain and then returned later to steal his motorcycle. The Beefield-Sophia Greater Georgetown resident told the police that the men led by someone he is acquainted with first attacked him around 16 hours 30 on Friday while he was climbing with some friends off the bridge. He identified the acquaintance as Peter. He claimed that when Peter and one of the other men approached him, he had thought it was just a casual meeting. He was, however, left in shock when Peter slapped him and pointed a handgun to him which he took from his waist, while the other man snatched his 16 pennyweight gold chain from around his neck before they ran away with the rest of the gang. A taxi driver is among two suspects who were arrested by police for a brazen robbery they committed on Friday at Rhythm Flow Chill Spot located at Crane Housing Scheme, West Coast, Demerara, Region 3. The two were allegedly part of the gang of three men armed with guns who stormed the bar around 20 hours 30 while the owner, a 30-year-old businessman, was playing pool with his friends. According to police, they reportedly walked straight up to the owner and pointed a gun to him before ripping 12 gold chains from his neck. The total value of the stolen jewelry is said to be around $1.5 million. The businessman told police that after stealing his chains, the bandits fired 2 shots in the air before escaping in a waiting Toyota Fielder motor car PZZ 3371. And finally, at this time, Eureka Medical Laboratories, which have to implement corrective measures following reports of inconsistent drug testing results. The company and its overseas partners, Quest Diagnostic, which provides drug testing kits to the local business, will also conduct investigations. To determine the cause of the result following a complaint to the Ghana National Bureau of Standards. A complaint was lodged with GNBS of inconsistent marijuana test results from a man who was seeking employment related to the oil and gas sector. As such, the GNBS conducted an investigation where it found that Eureka Medical Laboratories failed to conform to certain laboratory requirements and was thus ordered to correct their inconsistencies. We have also received complaints of alleged faulty test results from laboratories. These, however, were related to COVID-19 tests that were required for travel. We were informed that this state of affairs has severely affected the individual's travel plan. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Allow me to remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I'm Joshua Van Slegman. Thank you